Hi, world, and welcome to today's edition of Soil and Soul here on Sacred Earth Essentials with myself, your hostess, Stephanie Lincolnfelter. So, today is number 34, and today the plant that we are going to go over is dun, 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 cinnamon. So I have some cinnamon here, some cinnamon sticks. So these are actually quills. That's what they're called. They're called quills, the dried inner bark of the cinnamon tree. And that particular one is an organic one from McCormick, one of the leading, probably the leading, most popular spice brand company in the world that I know of, and that particular one is Saigon cinnamon. I just love cinnamon. Like, it is sweet and warming, but in a very calming way. It's like a spicy calm, and it has that lovely tingle that also comes along with it. Many people know it as a kitchen herb, a kitchen spice for baking. I love putting it in my coffee. It's excellent mixed with yogurt. When I was pregnant with my son, I ate a lot of yogurt with cashews, bananas, maple syrup, and cinnamon. It was one of my favorite snacks, one of my favorite treats, go-tos. So it's one of the things he's made of. These are so packed in here tightly that it's hard for me to get these out of. And so when we're looking at the conversation of soil and soul, I like to look at where the particular plants originate from and some of the growing conditions that they need, as well as looking at some of the current issues that are happening with that particular plant and that particular region, and bringing you a little bit of knowledge about herbal medicine. So here we have cinnamon oil. I've been soaking in the sun and the moon for a few months now, actually, and this I'm really excited to use. What I'll do is I will break up the cinnamon and warm it slowly in a double boiler just to get an even stronger extraction. And this is also made with extra virgin olive oil, and this will be put into some nice warming salves for help with inflammation and muscle relief, as well as using this oil, or if you make it at home, this type of oil as a sensual aphrodisiac type oil to blend with other oils, and again to be cautious of not getting the oil, especially when it's not diluted, in very sensitive regions. Okay. And don't mix it if you're going to use it for a sensual or erotic massage. Don't mix it with cayenne or ginger. Okay, and then we also have the powdered, oh, what a lovely sound, the powdered cinnamon. Okay, for some of us, this fills us with memories of holidays. For some of us, we may use cinnamon in spiritual or religious ceremonies. Cinnamon is also, particularly cassia, included in an ancient blend of cannabis oil, of anointing oil. So cinnamon has a rich history in that area as well. And I am very fond of cinnamon. It's something that many of us are familiar with. However, back in the day, before it was popularized and grown in other regions of the world, it did come from one particular region of the world. Well, the Ceylon cinnamon did, which oftentimes people call the true cinnamon. Cinnamon cassia is also a true cinnamon in the sense of it being equally as legitimate. It is just from a different part of the world, not from the Ceylon region in Indonesia. So it's in the Lauriaceae family, Familia, and some other names that are known by. I swear my grammar is interesting. It can fluctuate between multiple different syntaxes, so I hope that you appreciate that in this show. I need to get a little bit better background music as I offer you these videos, so I can feel this nice soothing, sensual undertone of cinnamon. It doesn't give that wow effect that nutmeg gives. It's a much softer spice, which I believe is why it is so often combined with the stronger spices like nutmeg and clove, as well as a spice that's loved by children and many people of all ages. So there's the cinnamon verum, there's Laurus cinnamon, there's Ceylon cinnamon, there is Seychelles cinnamon, and as well as Madagascar cinnamon. And those are all the different names, the different varieties that people often consider to be true cinnamon. And so cinnamon is often associated with love and prosperity and abundance. Cinnamon is also often added to kava kava blends, chai blends, and different types of aphrodisiac blends, particularly around this time of year. Which also I wanted to bring up that February is also Black History Month, and so I think that it is important to incorporate Black history into the conversation of soil and soul and into the global conversation about plant medicine. So we'll be intertwining, we'll be weaving in some African American history and facts about plants and the African contribution to modern day agriculture and the healing world. So Cinnamon zeylanicum is a tropical evergreen. It's known to grow about 15 meters high and has shoots that are speckled with a green-orange color. It's known by its shiny green leathery leaves and small white flowers. So when cinnamon is harvested, the tree is harvested and the outer layer is cut off and the inner layer is then dried and cured to be used as what we know as cinnamon. And those inner layers, they then curl up and are called quills. It's native to Sri Lanka. It's native to this particular variety, is the Ceylon cinnamon is native to that area of Ceylon, Indonesia, which I found out is actually called the Kingdom of Kandy, Candy with a K. Oh, heavenly, which I've also found interesting that there is a place in the world called the Kingdom of Kandy. And this particular island was responsible for 80 to 90% of all of the cinnamon coming from Indonesia. It's also popular as this is the Saigon cinnamon in areas such as China, Vietnam, and Burma. So again, when we're identifying smells, it's good to get up close and personal with the real thing. Hi, Yoda. So cinnamon's been a popular spice for about 2,000 years. It was brought in from Egypt, again, used in the anointing oil, known to be used in the embalming fluids as well. And they kept it a secret where they were getting the spice from. So for a long time, cinnamon was very rare, and it was considered to be rare, just like nutmeg was if you watched my previous video. So eventually there were some Portuguese explorers that discovered where cinnamon originated from, and as we know throughout much of history, by force and violence then took over the island from the indigenous people that lived there and developed into what was known as the Kingdom of Kandy. And so now we have cinnamon that grows in many different countries worldwide, but we still want to make sure that we're growing it in sustainable ways and organically. So thankfully, all this McCormick here is a large mainstream company. They are making some efforts to incorporate organic spices into what they have to offer. Again, you can order this through my affiliate links organically, different types of cinnamon through the Mountain Rose Herbals affiliate and the Star West Herbals affiliate, as cinnamon does not grow in Vermont. So some of the benefits of cinnamon. Cinnamon is known to assist in diabetes. It helps with improving the insulin response. It's antimicrobial, as well as a strong antioxidant, which is why it's nice to just sprinkle a little bit in your coffee or with your granola or your yogurt or in your smoothie if you drink a smoothie in the mornings. And it also, I love cinnamon again in teas like chais, as well as mixed with the nutmeg in kava kava blends, or as we'll be talking about in the next video with Damiana, for example. Cinnamon is also excellent in Zoom balls, and as well as in chewing gum and different types of candies. It has that nice sensation where it gives you that little bit of a burn, but not over the top. And so can be very pleasurable in that sense as well. It also helps with circulation. So for people who have a hard time getting warm and staying warm, cinnamon is excellent to add to the diet. It can be added to many different dishes like curries as well. Pumpkin pie is one of the things that come to mind. And it also has benefits when used aromatherapeutically as well. And so it also contains terpenes and other essential components that I'll continue to discuss with you here as we listen. So again, thank you for listening to my video. Today definitely feels like a little bit of a more calm vibe. My son and I are about to go to a dinner at our local church. They're doing a fundraiser for their annual trip to Guatemala, where they help children there in orphanages who are HIV and AIDS positive. And so we're going to go there and participate in the community dinner and help clean up in the kitchen afterwards. So no matter where you are, bloom where you're planted. I see the importance in having a positive attitude and giving back and spreading joy and being sweet and warming and medicinal like cinnamon. And so again, using these plants as archetypes and using them as ways to connect to the sacredness of the earth and ourselves through self-care, so that we can help to save soil, to make soil, to take care of the water, to do what we can to lower our footprint on the earth and to care for the earth as we would a loved one. Okay. And so after the Kingdom of Candy, back to the political part, it was then in the control again of the Portuguese through 1518 to 1638. And so after the 1800s, it then was not as much of a rarity. And so, let's see here, it's also considered to be a yang tonic and can be used over time internally and externally to beautify the skin. I think that it goes very well in if you happen to treat your hair with oil here in Vermont with the wood heat and having such, it's in like the -20s right now, having such cold winters, it's good to also use oil treatments in your hair. And cinnamon is something I like to add to mine. And it can also help with vision problems, which I think is wonderful. So it's used in dysmenorrhea, erectile dysfunction, fatigue, flatulence. So again, it helps with digestive issues, bad breath. It helps with regulating menstruation, with lumbago, and again, as I said before, with poor circulation. And so if you want to set up a nice sensual self-care ritual for yourself, or a loved one. Cinnamon, as long as there's no allergies or any type of conflict with a medication that one is taking, cinnamon is an excellent spice to add into blends for bath, tea, massage, candles. If you use essential oils in some type of a steam distiller in the room. And it really brings this, again, this nice, soft, warming, it's like a slow yang. It's like pushes you right into that sensual place, but in a very gentlemanly way, I would say, of cinnamon. I would say that cinnamon, to me, it's a spice, but it's a very sweet, gentle spice. It's a trustworthy spice. You can, I really do feel that way about cinnamon. It's a dependable spice. It also goes very well with frankincense aromatherapeutically. And so just to give you a little bit more information before we end this, and then I have to do Damiana and bring you Damiana as well, which goes excellent with cinnamon mixed with chocolate. The Aztecs and the Mayans use this, and people in Latino culture in Mexico and beyond continue to use cinnamon in many of their cacao blends. And so it is antithymitic, antidiarrheal, antidote, antimicrobial, antiseptic, antispasmodic, antiputrescent, aphrodisiac, astringent, carminative, digestive, emmenagogue, homeostatic, or orogenic, so it also helps with increasing the oxygen and the oxygen flow in your body and your blood, parasitic, spasmolytic, and stimulant. And it also can be a vasodilator. So the constituents that I think are important to go over are that it contains eugenol acetate, cinnamaldehyde, benzoyl benzoate, linalool, safrole, as well as pinene, cineol, furfuryl, cymene, and again, like I said, linalool are some of the main terpenes. So it has this nice uplifting, warming, sensual feel to it. It's healing in a lot of gentle ways, as well as being an aphrodisiac. And it is something that is used in nervous exhaustion, as well as with different types of muscle spasms, digestive issues, circulatory problems, diabetes, erectile dysfunction, and more. So even just looking at it on a soulful level or an emotional level, cinnamon for a lot of people is just a warming, reassuring, and gentle herb that gives a positive vibration, a positive vibe, and often is associated with positive memories. And so when designing set and setting for people, and when offering, so if you are doing pairing, for example, you would want to consider cinnamon in your blends. If you're pairing different types of cannabis cultivars with different types of foods for desserts, like let's say you're making something that is like an infused maple or an infused honey or an infused pie of some type, looking for different cultivars that have a cinnamon taste to them might be something that would be appealing to your clients. And I just love cinnamon. You can't go wrong with cinnamon. It's a trustworthy spice and warms the hearts of many. So if you happen to live in a cold climate right now and you're feeling the lack of vitamin D and vitamin C and other warm, sweet spiciness in your life, I offer you the magical, mystical, medicinal, scientifically backed benefits of cinnamon. And don't forget, as always, not only is the earth sacred and you are too, but check with your healthcare provider before implementing any type of supplemental dietary concerns. So thank you all for your time and for being here. Don't forget to be a blissful, peaceful blessing. Bye.